Hey guys, welcome to Coaching with Chris. Happy Halloween. Can you believe it? I've never been a big person in celebrating Halloween. I mean, I love candy. I love giving it to kids. Uh, I love scaring people. So I should love Halloween. I know some of my friends take it to the next level. But I have not ever really truly got into Halloween. So maybe I need to do better next year. So guys, I'm excited to bring Kyle Draper out. Look, I listened to Kyle at Aim Fuse and I said, this guy's real. This guy has a huge heart to be able to help us all be better in all types of social, in all types of video. I've got to interview this guy. So I said it in one of my top takeaways from Aim Fuse was get with Kyle. And so today I am honored and privileged. Oh, there he is.
Hey, Chris, I missed the memo. I thought that we were dressing up today.
Yeah, you didn't. I think
No.
I screwed up. And by the way, that is amazing. Amazing mask there.
Thank you. It's a part of our family, our family outfit for tonight. So.
Oh, so you take the kids trick-or-treating?
Yeah, and every year we theme it. So we're all inside of the same, group of people. So we're all Mario Brothers characters for tonight. And we're gonna have some fun.
How old are your kids?
I have my oldest, he'll be 11 tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I have an almost 9-year-old daughter and a 5-month-old daughter.
Wow, you are busy.
We are in it.
You are to go out and eat is a chore.
Yes, sir. It is. It's a interesting life we've chose for ourselves.
Well, let me just tell you, the older they get, the bigger the problems.
Thank you. Such an encouragement to me.
I mean, I am thankful. I got my kids are 23 and 25.
Okay.
Wait, 22 and 25. And I get to work with them. I get to hang out with them. I grew up in a family business, so that's something that's super important to me. So sounds like you're really close to your kids. You get to do Halloween. You get to do fun things together. And
Yes,
they're
sir.
never going to forget this.
I hope so, because I'm putting in a lot of effort to be Bowser tonight.
You think this will put you over the top for Dad of the Year?
It should put me in the running for sure. I don't know that I'll win, but I should be up there.
I want to see the trophy, Kyle. I want to see the trophy.
I'll take a picture with it and tag you in it.
Okay, cool. Well, I think I'm curious. What's Kyle's story? How'd you get started? How'd you get to this passion? And kind of a little bit of rundown on what's your journey like?
Chris, so I started as a youth pastor, and so I spent my 20s as a pastor. At the time, I was a 5th generation pastor, so it's what was kind of in our DNA. It's what I'd watched my family do. A bunch of other members of our family are in church ministry. And so really I just had this deep, profound desire to serve people, to help people's lives get better. And at the time, the only way I knew to do that was by being a pastor. And so one day, about 8 years into my ministry, I just started feeling like when I met people and they were cussing, as soon as they found out I was a pastor, they stopped. Or as soon as they found out I was a pastor, they weren't telling me that they were hungover from the party they were at the night before. And I would drive home going, my title is keeping me from getting the realness from people. Because I think people just assumed oh, you're going to try to fix me. You're going to, and I had no desire for any of that. And so I just started praying about it. And what took 2 years, ultimately I felt like I could serve people more in the business world with the heart of a pastor than as an actual pastor. And so I resigned from our church. I moved my family to a different state. And then I started a roofing company with my dad and my brother. And that is where I got a crash course on marketing, sales, social media, networking, relationship building. And from there, I met a ton of realtors. And I'm 6'3", 290 pounds. And so I do a lot of damage on roofs when I was up there assessing the damage. and so on an August afternoon on a roof, when the soles of my shoes are literally melting to the roof, I thought, this can't be it for me. Surely there's something more fun planned for my life. And so I left roofing and started building websites for real estate agents with a buddy of mine. Through that, I realized I'm good at communicating. Realtors were bad at social media. And so, Chris, I just started teaching Facebook classes at real estate offices.
Mm-hmm.
And then, boom, here we are 6+ years later. And I get to travel the country loving and serving people, helping them get in front of the camera. And then through that, I've got a few other businesses that have happened because of all of this. And I wish my story was, I did this on purpose. Here's the blueprint. But I couldn't have planned any of this. And that's how you and I are on video together today.
I got to go back for a second.
Okay.
Did you fight it when you were going to leave ministry? Did you fight it? Did you not want to do it? Did you feel like it was, fog? And what was that leap? Because, that leap of faith that you took, right, to leave that is what a lot of realtors and lenders need today, is the leap of faith to be able to, A, stay in, B, be able to change a few things into their work to make a difference, and accept that this is the market. This is what we got right now. So let's embrace it. Like, what did you do to push yourself past that little milestone?
So I wish I had better advice for this too. Maybe it is going to be good advice. But we left our church, and I knew that I was supposed to go be in the business world, but I got scared and I went and interviewed with another church anyway.
Okay.
And it was in that process that church literally said, you're not going to be a good fit here. They kicked me out of the interview process. And so my greatest advice is, if you're listening, I believe that like God is always speaking, and I needed that kick in the butt, because if that church would have said yes, I would have said yes.
Right.
But because I knew I would have said yes, they needed to say no. And so I think sometimes, as weird as it sounds, Chris, I think we need to stop fighting and realizing that oftentimes, like, what we're fighting for is our own comfort. We're fighting against that discomfort, which is where we're going to grow, which is where the next opportunity presents itself. And so what I've found is that if I will actually fight less and just listen more, that good things are happening around me. But I'm so fixated on me, my, that I don't have the ability to see it. And so I just know for our people, for the people you serve at Windsor, like, if all we choose to look at is what are rates, how many people have left the industry, like, if that's how we choose to see it, then you're going to be the statistic. You're going to be the next to go. But if we choose to flip it and go, no. While all these people are looking at the negative, I'm going to see this as a refreshing, as a renewing, as a filtering out of some of the people from this industry that maybe are giving it a bad name, and that we're going to come out of this healthier than we went in. It's all about perspective.
It is.
And I think that perspective was really the biggest thing for me in taking that leap, not as much in like an action that I took.
Yeah. So you started coaching these realtors. Well, you started doing websites, and then you started to kind of coach a little bit on Facebook. And there must have been some part of that journey where you're like, "Ooh, I found it. I found this passion. I found this thing. This gives me joy." Like, something must have clicked.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't keep doing it.
I remember that this was an incredible day for me. It was not an incredible day for my wife. I taught 200 plus classes for free, right? Trying to build rapport to then sell websites. I never really saw myself as like a paid speaker. I never saw that as like a way to earn a living. And I'll never forget the day that somebody offered to pay me $100. And I called my wife and was like, you won't believe what happened. and this isn't in the 60s when like $100 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This is 5 years ago. And I remember calling my wife going, honey, you won't believe this. So-and-so is going to pay me $100 to teach their class.
Yeah.
And here, Chris, is why perspective is so important. Her response was, what are we going to do with $100? Like, how is that going to help our lives? But my perspective was, I'd always heard you become an expert of something when you've been paid to do it. And so that $100 might as well have been $1 million to me, because that was my moment of validation that I am the expert of this. I am better at this than I think I am. And I needed that validation. And so that was really like the moment where I thought, can I get paid to do what I would continue and happily do for free? Mm-hmm. And so that was my defining moment in my evolution, as a speaker.
Well, I mean, I think we're all dying to know. Did you frame it?
Did I frame it? I didn't, because we needed the money.
Okay.
So it did not get framed. It went directly towards diapers or, gas. But in my brain, it is framed in my psyche for sure.
So we started doing these classes. You really fell in love with the social media piece and realtors. When did it cross over into lenders? Just like naturally, or?
Here is what's so wild. To this day, go look at any of my content. I don't really ever say lenders, ever. I don't say the word mortgage. It's so bizarre. About 2 years ago, my COO was looking at our numbers and she goes, did you realize that 83% of our clients are lenders? And I said, shut up.
Shut the door.
How is that possible? We don't market to that side of the community at all. And here's what I believe we did. And I think this is powerful for people to understand. And I'll break this down even further beyond the story.
Okay.
We all show up to social media with this understanding that like we're going to be sold to there. So we're used to raising our guard, lowering our guard, raising our guard, lowering our guard, right? By the video. So with every thumb scroll, I can raise my guard and lower my guard based on what I think is happening in the content I'm viewing. And so what I think, Chris, happened is because most of my content is aimed at realtors, lenders and the entire mortgage side, they would watch my content with such freedom because I'm not talking to them. And so they're watching my videos and I think they're watching it. And by the end of them, they're going, wait a second, why don't I need what Kyle does? I know he's teaching this to realtors, but like, I think I need this. But I really think if I would have from the beginning said, hey, if you're a mortgage broker, if you're in the mortgage world, I don't think we would have 83% of our clients be in the mortgage world because all of their guards would have gone up. And so this is why, for everyone listening, if they would start positioning their content directed almost exclusively at the opposite of what they want most. So if you want more realtor partners, focus your content on the consumer. Mm-hmm. If you want more consumers, focus your content on educating realtors. And by speaking to one, you're going to naturally attract the opposite. Because the moment we hear our title, we go, ooh, what's Chris trying to do to me? Right? And so I think I've kind of reverse psychologied my way into the mortgage space by choosing to never really make the mortgage space my ideal client publicly.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me.
It is, but it is the way we think.
100%.
It is the way we think. So walk me through, like, I want to get through some content of some good takeaways that realtors, and I got some realtors that actually belong to this little call, but majority are lenders. But what are some mistakes that we're making today? And I want to get through some content from you guys. I want to pick your brain a little bit on some content, some good ideas that I need to go do to get going again.
Yep.
And then I want to end up talking about, what does Kyle do if I want to get connected? What are the pieces about your business that, you're doing to help real estate agents and lenders out there? So, I just think it's so confusing to so many to either pick the social media outlet, they do it for a little bit, and then it didn't work. I knew it wouldn't work. Or, what do you consider? I'm going to ask you this. I mumbled till I found it. The top 10 social media mistakes that genius, smart lenders and realtors make.
Oof, you're gonna make me do 10.
Okay, give me 5.
All right, I'm gonna have to
put the hat backwards.
We're gonna Sylvester Stallone over the top this.
It seems to be a new deal on calls where everybody has their hat backwards.
Get serious.
I don't have any hair, so I'm thinking about I might enter into this contest.
Yeah, but you don't need the hat because you're beautiful all the time. Right? Like you don't have a bad hair day.
I just shave it.
So it's brilliant. I'm looking forward to the day that I can do that. Number 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to write these down as I go. So the first thing that we do poorly is just bring a bad mindset to the table. We have all been taught that social media is a tool for sales. So most of us didn't really care much about social media before we got into mortgage, before we got into real estate. And then a leader told us, hey, you need to be better at sales. There's a sales tool over here called Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Snapchat. And so from the get-go, our approach on a social platform was sales first. And so from the get-go, we all suck and we've all screwed ourselves over on this because we show up every day with what can Facebook give me as opposed to what can I give to Facebook? What can I give to my people on Instagram? And so the mindset piece is bad. It automatically puts us in a position to fail. It also then, Chris, it creates these subconscious filters so that in a minute, when we talk about content ideas, the people watching this, the struggle that they will have is right now, their filter subconsciously is asking, is what you're about to post going to help you make more money? Well, there is not a unicorn post on social media. No one's found it. And so if that's the subconscious question you're filtering things through, you're never going to agree with any of your content because that silver bullet does not exist. And so we've got to shift that to say, is what I'm about to post going to create value for the people I'm trying to serve? Now we've broadened our horizon. We have more available to us because we shifted that mindset. Okay, so that's number 1. Does that make sense?
Good. It's good. It remind me to make sure you share the dog peeing story at the end.
Oh,
it's my
of course.
It's my favorite.
Of course. I will happily. I could even call our dog in and see if I can get her to pee on me.
Okay.
I'm wearing yellow today, so it'll be camouflaged.
The stage is set.
So the second one, and these are in no particular order. I did not come prepared to give this stuff, right? So we're just shooting from the hip.
Yep.
The second no is how often we introduce ourselves when we show up on video on social media.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this is so foreign to people, and it blows my mind that we don't think this way. But again, we just don't, because we are introduced all this in the eyes of a business person. We introduce ourselves at business functions. We introduce ourselves at networking. If you're one of those lucky people in a BNI group, they teach you to introduce yourself twice in a 60-second sales pitch. Like, that's what they teach you to do. And so we show up on social media where 90% of those people are already our friends. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what's up, guys? It's Kyle. And all those people go, duh. We've been friends since high school, man. Like, I'm your aunt. I know what your name is. So we start our videos off with an awkward moment.
I want to jump on here.
I wanted to, yeah. Oh, I mean, it's just like, we would never say, I want to jump on. Like, if I was in person with you, that phrase would never come out of our mouths.
For sure.
But we've learned it through social media, and it serves no purpose. And then the other aspect of this is, Chris, it takes us about 2 seconds to intro ourselves. What's up, guys? It's Kyle Draper with Windsor Mortgage. Mm-hmm. We don't get 2 full seconds to capture somebody's attention on social media anymore. So before I can even get my last name out, you've already swiped. I could have had killer content planned, but you'll never know it because I wasted time introducing myself.
So give me an example of an intro that, give me an example of an intro. And I call it setting the stage. That's just so Chris making up something, but setting the stage in a sense to keep me engaged in.
So it's all dependent on what you're talking about, right? And I will say too, because what you're really asking now is like, what's a good hook?
Yeah.
We don't like to use that word because obviously that's a salesy word, but that's what we're asking. How do we hook someone to stay?
Yeah.
And so we need to be looking at, what are they already thinking about the topic that I'm about to cover? Where are they potentially already stuck? And so, like, if I think I've got a way for them to be unstuck, right, I'm going to lead out with something like, do you feel stuck this morning? Right? Like, and just something that simple can result in someone going, oh, I do feel kind of stuck. And boom, you're going to give me a couple more seconds. Right? Or on the mortgage side, we could use a hook that's like, let me tell you about the only loan product you've never heard about.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Right. Let me tell you the one loan product to never say yes to. Right. So stuff like that. And this is where it gets difficult, Chris, because we know deep down, like, absolutes are really never true. Right. Like, if you're married and you've been to counseling, our counselor always tells us, like, do not argue with absolutes. Kyle did not always do that. Lana never does that. Like, that's never true. But they grab people's attention. So if I say, never eat this candy, like, that's going to explode on Halloween.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's all we're thinking about today. And so then at that point, I can talk about whatever I want. I just use that hook. So that's that's the easiest way to do it. But what I would also say, Chris, because we're not all creative geniuses in the same way. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes we just need to start into our content. We're drawn to stories, right? You were in the room when Renee spoke at Fuse. Mm-hmm. Right? Renee Rodriguez talked about how we spend half of our time daydreaming. When we're not daydreaming, one of the reasons we're not daydreaming is that somebody is doing it for us because they're telling a story. So the more stories we can tell, the more engagement we're going to get. So this would actually, as we're talking, this is going to qualify as number 3 of what not to do.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to teach this in the opposite, which is don't tell stories. Like, if you want to suck at social media, don't be a storyteller. Just share facts and watch nobody care about what you do because you're not giving them opportunity to feel connected to you. So we've got to use the power of story when we're trying to leverage social media.
Yeah.
And Renee is an absolute beast. Somebody just said that in the comments.
He is.
What I just did, we can make this number 4.
Let's do it.
Right? We don't engage. This is something we've got to stop doing, because here's the power of what I just did, Chris, and people probably didn't even catch it. The fact that I said out loud on a live training what somebody said in the comments, it tells all of our viewers, oh, I can be more engaged. I can put stuff in the comments because Kyle's actually paying attention.
Yes.
And so what most of us do on social media is we do what I call we post and ghost.
Post and ghost. That's good.
And that has a whole new meaning today because it's Halloween. But what posting and ghosting is right. I want to accomplish something, so I just throw out a post. Could be a video, could be a graphic, and then I don't show back up until the next day when I'm ready to post again. And so there could be 2 comments, there could be 10 comments, and I don't even go back and pay any attention to them because I was so focused on what I wanted to post next.
Yeah.
And what most people don't realize is your social media grows the fastest, not based on how much you post, but how often you're engaging with other people. This is a give and take platform, all of them. And so the algorithms have evolved, and I'm struggling on LinkedIn right now. I've chosen to make LinkedIn my main platform for this next season.
Okay.
And so I'm posting great content, and some of it gets 1 like, some of it gets 8 likes, some of it gets 0 likes. And the reason that's happening is because I'm not setting aside enough time to just engage other people's content. And so if for 10 minutes a day, I was on LinkedIn commenting on your stuff, commenting on other people's things, sending some DMs, but like good DMs, not bad ones.
Okay.
I'm going to start showing up more often to those people. And then I'm going to get more likes. And it won't be because my content got better. It'll simply be because I showed the algorithm that I'm here to create community, not just use this as a billboard for my success.
I think if anybody gets one thing out of today, it's post and ghost.
I agree.
I mean, I'm guilty of it myself.
We all are, because most of us are bad at the posting part anyway. So as we get better, it took so much energy for you to think about that post, create that graphic, edit that video, that you hit the post button and you're like, oh, yes, we did it.
Yeah.
We did it, guys. High five. Right? Like, and then you forget, like, oh no, I got to circle back around and go pay attention to those people. And so it is, if that's the one thing, that's a super powerful takeaway for anybody.
You know, I got to be honest. I have a good friend. He's my competitor, but he's a friend. He's a great guy. His name's Eddie Perez. He has EPM. I'm like, he is constantly commenting and posting. He kicks my butt at it.
Yeah.
He is great at it. And I'm like, does he ever sleep? Like, how does he do all those postings? And he's just really, really good at it. And I recognized it. I finally, like hit me. And now when you say this, it even hits me more of that's something that, I'm not doing a good job with. And maybe, all of us need to do a better job at that post and ghost.
We're all guilty of it. It's true for all of us. My favorite strategy to just make it practical for people is called the 10-10-10.
Okay.
So if we would spend 10 minutes a day, and during those 10 minutes, if we would reply to 10 people's stories and then comment on 10 people's posts. And here's why this is so powerful. And this gets us into number 5. Look at how this is just flowing. We didn't even.
I mean, you know what we're going to have to do, Kyle? We're going to have to do top 5, and then we're going to have part 2.
We could. I said I couldn't do 10. I think I could actually do 10.
Oh gosh.
But we'll stop at 5. There might be 6.
All right.
So here's the power of this.
Okay.
First of all, Instagram and Facebook have made this easy because stories are at the top of the feed.
Yeah.
It's the first thing we see when we open Facebook and Instagram. And so what does that tell us? That tells us that Facebook and Instagram value that as one of their top things. And if we want to win on social media platforms, we've got to participate in what we know they value. Right now, they value stories and short form video content. So if I DM you, let me step back. When I, Chris, respond to your story, you put up a story about the candy you're eating from Halloween tonight. And I comment on it and go, dude, I love Snickers. What I see is just a measly comment is actually me and you now in your DMs. And so you and I are now engaged in a private one-on-one conversation that carries the most weight in the algorithm. Because the algorithm is always asking you, it's asking on behalf of you, who does Chris want to see? What type of videos does he like? And something that they hold in high regard is, who is Chris talking to in private? Because if they're communicating privately, they probably want to see each other's content. This is where we can create wizardry, almost witchcraft with social media. Is the more people I'm DMing, and they're DMing me back, I'm going to show up in the algorithm more often than not, and they're going to show up on my newsfeed more often than not. And so this is the power of just a simple scroll sideways, doing simple replies to people's stories. Somebody shares a quote. Literally, just say, I love that quote. That's it. Boom, you're in the DM with them. The other side of that is when we do the 10 comments, those 10 comments, Chris, are public. So I'm giving myself 10 chances a day to be seen by other people. And so if my comment is a thumbs up emoji, who cares? Nobody cares.
No.
So these comments need to be thoughtful, but here's what happens when you do it well. And this happens more often on Facebook than on Instagram, and even on LinkedIn. If my comment is thoughtful, my own comment will create its own thread. People will then start replying to me in your post based on my comment. And so I'm now using your post to create my own engagement with your people.
Yeah.
But it's all about the thoughtfulness of the comment.
Yeah.
And so here's the math. I'm not a math guy. You run a mortgage company. So you're a better math guy than me. But here's the math on this. If we just did this 200 days a year in a calendar year, Chris, this is 4,000 touches a year.
Wow.
4,000 touches in 10 minutes of effort, 200 times a year. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
And it's easy.
It's easy because I'm allowing your content to dictate what I say to you. So I don't have to come up with what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it in response to what you're already saying.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And everybody can put that in your calendar. I'm going to make all my LOs and A's put this into their calendar.
Absolutely.
10, 10, 10. Because if I schedule it and I stay accountable to my calendar, I'm going to do it. And then look, 200 days down the road, I'm going to have 4,000.
100%. And what we can do later is I teach a whole class that I call messenger marketing.
Okay.
Where I give you all these different strategies to just be in DMs with people. Because that is where. So number 5, if I didn't already say it, number 5, what we do wrong is we avoid DMs.
We do.
What do a lot of lenders and realtors do? They post stuff and then they put their phone number on it. You're in an app with the direct ability to communicate to me. And you're going to make me go through the trouble of trying to remember 10 digits in another app to call you? Guys, if we would just, on your content, if you would stop putting your phone number and just literally say, DM me. You are now in cooperation with what the app wants. And you're going to get more people to respond to you because you're not asking them to do something hard. You're asking them to do something easy. And it's such a simple little tweak.
It is.
What I love about DMs, Chris, and luckily I didn't have to do this to you because you connected to me before I got the chance. Because you were on my list of people that I needed to connect with. And for men and women at your level, I can't just like text a number. I can't just email. Like there's going to be gatekeepers in the traditional ways of communication. So what I do is I'm going to DM someone of your stature. I'm going to DM you on LinkedIn because that LinkedIn's hitting your phone. And then I'm going to send you a video, which is number 6, right? I'm gonna send you a video in there that goes, Chris, man, I loved watching you speak at Fuse. It was great. You did awesome. I'd love to connect sometime. And
you gave honor. You did a video.
100%.
You gave honor.
Yep.
And then you had your ask.
Yep. I met some of your people at the booth. Wow, what an unbelievable team you guys have. And your assistant isn't watching your LinkedIn DMs. That's going to hit your phone. And this is how I connect to really powerful influencers because I don't come in through traditional marketing. I'm slipping in the back door through the way that most people just aren't thinking about.
Yeah.
And so we should live in people's DMs because Facebook Messenger alone has over 1 billion users.
Insane.
And I don't need any of your contact information to show up there.
That's right.
I don't have to know your phone number. I don't have to know your email address. And as a salesperson, like you've been in sales for a long time. Can you imagine that a day would come where you could directly communicate to anyone on the planet without actually having any information about them? And it's here. It's called DMs.
It's like putting a class on. This is like really got me fired up. Like the DM of selling, like how to sell through DM.
That's it.
I've had some gatekeepers in my way, and I'm like, I am gonna get them.
That's right.
Back. And I'm Facebook Messenger. I don't think it's ever failed me.
Chris, what I'll do today is at some point today, I will carve out 10 minutes. I will put this mask back on. And I will DM really important people that some people would go, well, that feels unprofessional. And in my video, when I go, oh, I'm sorry, I have this mask on. This is a part of my costume with our family tonight.
Yeah.
I'm interjecting opportunity for us to connect on deeper levels than business. Some of them are going to respond with, oh my gosh, that's awesome. What are your kids going to be? And now I'm in conversation with powerful CEOs because I wore a freaking Bowser mask in a DM. Because what I've learned in my almost 41 years on this earth is that powerful people are still people.
Yeah.
Influential people are still people. But in sales, we put so much pressure on the sales part that we don't know what to say. When the reality is, I just want to connect to Chris. That's all. I know that things will happen if it's meant to be. So I just want to connect. And there's so much. There's millions and millions and millions of dollars to be made inside of our DMs, which cost us nothing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And I will tell you, the more powerful or higher position the person is, the less those people get asked anyway.
Absolutely.
And because everybody's scared to go ask. And then when they get asked, they like it.
Right.
Especially.
Isn't that interesting? And then on the flip side, if they do get asked all the time, who are they going to pay more attention to? The 99 videos that came in with somebody in a suit, somebody dressed to the nines, versus the dude that's rocking the Bowser. And so I'm doing what we call stop the scroll, right? I am positioning myself as a break in the mundane. And I guarantee you, it won't work 100% of the time, but somebody's going to respond to me that wouldn't have otherwise, just because I made you laugh out loud because I had a silly costume on.
That's right.
And it seasonally makes sense, right? Because it's Halloween. If I were to do this in April, that would probably be slightly weirder.
Well, you could be the Easter Bunny.
But that's what. So if it's December, I mean, can you imagine if I had a Santa beard on and a hat and I pop into your DMs and that caused you to pause just long enough to potentially pay attention?
Yeah.
Can I give two more that I have?
Yes, I'll need them.
And then I'm done.
I love this, guys. I love this.
So 6 is what we're doing wrong is that we're just not leveraging video. What you and I are doing right now is the most powerful way to communicate on the planet. Because what we found is like my brain doesn't know how to process that you and I aren't hanging out in a room together. Like my brain doesn't know how to go, whoa, Kyle, you don't like Chris yet. Like this isn't real life, right? I know he seems nice and like y'all are having a great time, but like this is not real. Y'all haven't physically hugged or shaken hands. Like our brains don't know how to process that. So my brain is processing our relationship right this second the exact same way as if you and I were at coffee having this conversation. So you and I, when we're at the next event together, our interaction will be very different, even though we've still never been in the same room.
Yeah.
So it's powerful. And yet we're choosing to avoid it because we're insecure, because I feel fat today. I don't like the way my voice sounds. I'm not a CEO of a big mortgage company. And so now I feel less than and less qualified to share what my expertise is. And so we live our lives from the outside looking in at everybody else that's doing it. Mm-hmm. And then we never pick up a ball and go get in the game. This is where the money is made. And so something I want to encourage people with is look at your process. So start to finish with like a loan. From if step 1 is I met Kyle today, and then step 18 is we just handed him the keys at closing. How many touch points are there in that process? Are 6 of those emails? Are 6 of those text messages? Are 6 of those phone calls? How many of those can we turn into videos?
Yep.
Some of them will be evergreen videos, which means once I record it once, I can send that out 300 times in every transaction.
Yep.
We don't say names. We don't say dates. We don't say days of the week so that nobody knows it's not for them or for somebody else. Mm-hmm. But then, Chris, what if there's a couple steps where we just say, you know what, it'll be a little bit more uncomfortable, but 3 of these steps would really be great for me to just record a selfie video where I'm saying, hey, Draper family, wanted to give you a quick update. Here's where we're at. Here's the docs we're still waiting for. Let us know if you need anything. And I don't care if you're on vacation. I don't care if you're at an airport waiting to get on a plane. I don't care if you're in the middle of a workout. Record the video in the moment and send it. And one of my favorite things to teach is
send it DM.
It could do it at this point. It'd be whatever you have access to.
Okay.
Right. DM is great. Phone number is great. I'm a big fan of the Marco Polo app, which is video walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
And so that's a cool process to add to the relationship. Do what?
They got to be on Marco Polo, but
yeah. So you would have to. This could get into a totally different conversation. I would actually onboard a new client and say, "Hey, we're really big on communication because communication makes and breaks everything." And so we use an app called Marco Polo to communicate to all of our clients. That way, we never misunderstand one another ever. You'll be able to see and hear me. I'll be able to see and hear you. It saves all of our conversations. And so this is how we found we always create an incredible, process. And so now they download it right there in front of you the moment y'all talk, and now they're good to go for the rest of the transaction.
Yeah.
The other piece to this, Chris, is I don't know why we've done this, but most people, when they're on camera, they turn a filter on that makes their background something fake.
Yeah.
And I believe that our backgrounds tell stories.
Me too.
And then I also believe when somebody's when somebody's covering their background, my first thought is, what are you doing back there? Like, what is back there that's so bad that I can't see it? Yeah. Is there a body back there?
Are you in the bathroom?
Like, are you on the toilet right now and you're trying to pretend like you're in Jamaica? And so I'm just a big fan of, like, obviously my office background is designed with my cubbies that tell stories about who I am and the things that I love. But if I'm sweating on a walk, well, guess what? That's super relatable to people.
Yeah.
And so if I do a video on a walk, that could lead to a future conversation which only deepens our relationship. Mm-hmm. And so I refuse, under zero circumstances will I ever use a fake background. Period. Never. Even if it's chaos, my chaos is still relatable to you.
That is the truth.
Okay? Last one.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, I forgot to write it down. What was my last one?
I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is awesome.
I'm pretty proud of myself for just making all this stuff up on the spot.
Really good.
See, I did it. I don't remember what my last one was going to be.
I think you just killed it, Kyle.
So we did 6. And now you know what? This isn't what I wanted it to be, but this is what we're going to do anyway. Number 7, because of what's happening right now, is we don't use our superpower.
Yeah.
And here's what I believe everybody has the ability to have as their superpower. My superpower is that I love serving people more than I care about looking stupid. So you and I, right? You make me do 10. I renegotiate to 5. I offer up 7. And I get to number 7 and go, oh, I don't remember what that was supposed to be. How many people would get off this call and go, I blew it. I had my chance, right? And I forgot what I was going to say. And they're more concerned with how they come off versus did they create value for people. The reason that I can be so good in front of the camera is because the only reason I show up there is for your benefit. I'm not there for ego. I'm a confident human, right? I'm married. I've got an amazing family. Like, my life is awesome. I don't need your validation to feel better about myself.
It's about them.
And so most people, we show up to be validated. And so you have to tap in to a greater source that provides you with your identity so that you don't need anything from the people of social media. Because if you can't figure it out, you will show up every day like a beggar, standing on the corner, begging people to like you, to validate you, to tell you how great you are. And then your content will always have to be that way. And you will chase ego, and no one will like you on social media. You will add very little value. And so we've got to show up with our superpower, which is I'm here to serve people, not be served. And it just makes this so much fun and so much easier when I make it less about me.
Yeah. This
There we
is
go.
awesome. By the way, Kyle, you killed it.
Thank you.
How do I help you? Tell me how people, if they want to hire you, if they want to get connected to your programs, how do we do it?
Thank you for asking that question. So I have multiple things, but the two biggest things that we do is I have a VA company, and not a loan product company, but I have a virtual assistant company. So we place virtual assistants with small business owners, lenders, realtors, anybody that needs it. It's unbelievable. And so then through that, we also have a content creation company where we do video editing and create micro content so that people for less than an hour of their time a month can have almost 30 pieces of content. And so that's a huge opportunity. I did write a book, and that's fine. And, it's fine.
Don't pity that away. What's the name of the book?
The book is called Rethink Everything You Know About Social Media. And it's on Amazon. And but then my favorite thing, Chris, of all, is like I was put on this planet to speak in front of people. Like that is my passion. That is I think my greatest gift to give to the world. Mm-hmm. And so, if anybody on here, like if you want to do a training like we've done today with your people or for your realtor partners as a value add to them, traveling and speaking across this country is my absolute favorite thing to do.
Well, I can tell you guys, I'm hiring Kyle. I'm hiring him for a couple of events already in the back of my mind. He doesn't even know about him yet. But like this guy's got the heart of gold. That's what attracted me to him. The tips that you gave today, Kyle, everybody wants to know, can I watch it again? Can I watch it again? Yes, you can watch it again. You can slow it down. You can take your notes, and then you can go back and implement. But if you don't take what Kyle said today and then go implement, maybe just implement one thing or two things, you're missing it. And this is the future. He's dead on, dead right. I've got to be better. And I was just thinking, what an idiot I am. The other day, someone said, can you help me on this loan? I put my phone number in the comments. And it's the thing that read in my mind, like, Chris, you did it. You did it. You have to be honest. You actually did it. And I did. So, Kyle, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome. It has been an honor. You have so much influence in this industry. And so whenever someone lets me borrow it's unbelievable. So I very much appreciate you.
I can't wait to partner more. We're going to do some cool things. I got some ideas for Kyle, so stay tuned. Thanks again for everybody. We love your comments. Keep commenting and go buy Kyle's book.
Come on.
Come on.